Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is gun violence in Tennessee, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about the presence of violence throughout the state of Tennessee by firearms, Reverend Walker, and of course with Reverend Walker is Mr. TPackard. And of course, Reverend Walker, let me welcome you to the show this morning, as well as you, Mr. Packard. And Reverend Walker, to have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and that kind of information. You are no stranger in a real sense to what we do here. And after you give us that information, then Mr. Packard will give us similar kind of information. And then we'll get started in talking about violence in Tennessee by way of guns.
Well, good morning, Dr. Haney again. I'm Pastor KWalker, pastor of the Hands of God Christian Church, and I'm glad to be here again. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. I was born and raised right here in Nashville, Tennessee, attended the public schools of Nashville, Tennessee, and as I always say, I never finished. I got kicked out because of my mindset. You know, I was kind of wild and everything in school. Got out of school, went to the United States Navy, and got out of the Navy, got me a GED. Went out to TSU for a short period of time. You know, all the time I was going through school and everything, I was doing drugs and stuff like that. Actually, strung out on drugs, and ended up quitting school at TSU. Ended up in prison, incarcerated in the Tennessee State Prison System. Spent about a total of 5 years of my life incarcerated in the system. Got out. Continued on with my drug addiction. Then in 1986, on the 24th of August, God stepped in my life, delivered me, called me into ministry, and that's what I do now. And currently, upon the death of Pastor Walter Gurley, one of my spiritual sons, on December the 4th, 2012, our ministries merged. He was the pastor of the Guardian Angels Outreach Ministry, and our ministries merged, and now I'm the senior pastor of the Hands of God Christian Church and the Hands of God Guardian Angels Ministries, which brings me to my guest here, Mr. TPackard. Mr. TPackard has been on board with Guardian Angels Ministries for the last 7 years, I believe. Pastor Gurley is one of Pastor Gurley's spiritual sons, raised him up in the ministry. He's currently the program director of the ministry, and we offer drug and alcohol-free housing for people that are coming out of prison, people that are homeless, and we minister to the homeless all over the city of Nashville. So we're just in our element now. We're doing what God has called us to do, and he's with us today to talk to us about this issue because of some of his past experiences in life, and I feel like he's qualified to talk.
Very good. And of course, Minister Packard, let's have you to give us some statements in reference to your background and your education and et cetera, and how you got here this morning. And then during that second segment, we'll have you to talk about, in a broader sense, some of your experiences.
Okay, well, good morning, Dr. Haney. Thanks for having me. My name is Minister TPackard. I'm from California, San Diego originally, raised in Los Angeles. Gang banged for 22 years. Lived a life of violence and chaos from a youth all the way to my mid-adulthood. And God stepped into my life. Actually, in 1995, he stepped into my life and showed me that he had a better way of living for me. At that time, I wasn't currently ready to live for the Lord, so I ran and continued doing the things that I was doing in the streets. And when I came to Nashville in 2006, I met Pastor Walter Gurley. And God always has a plan for your life. And I met Pastor Walter Gurley, came out to Nashville, interstate transport drugs, and this man came into my life and showed me that God was not only real, but he was real in my life. And he taught me how to live productively in society, taught me the Word of God, and I had a God experience myself. And in February of last year, he ordained me as a minister of the gospel, and I've been serving the Lord since 2006, faithfully.
Very good. And of course, as we get ready for this first commercial break, Pastor Walker, we're going to talk about, when we come back, we're going to allow Mr. Packard to give us some information in reference to his views in reference to gun violence in the state of Tennessee, or not only the state of Tennessee, gun violence, period. And then we'll allow you to help deal with some of these issues that we have to deal with. That's about 30 seconds from now, but that's essentially what we want to try to do, to give people some idea of what it means to talk about gun violence in the state of Tennessee and the presence of all of these guns and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I think that that's important, that we
Absolutely.
do that and to demonstrate to the public this morning of the impact that guns are having on the state of Tennessee. Nobody's trying to deny anybody the Second Amendment rights,
Right, absolutely.
but
That's right.
essentially the same thing. We want to make sure that everybody understands. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.